Welcome back, dear students. In today's video, I am going to discuss a topic from the chapter Human Health and Diseases. And in this chapter, one of the most important topic is the mechanism of humoral immunity and the cell-mediated immunity. I repeat once again. In this video, I am going to discuss about the humoral immunity and the cell-mediated immunity. So, to understand what is exactly the humoral immunity and cell-mediated immunity, at first we have to know what are the most important types involved in the immune reactions and the immune responses. And when we look into the different types of WBC which perform different functions, out of all the type of WBC, the most important cells are associated with immune systems or lymphocytes. Students, what I am going to tell is that in order to, that is immune responses, okay, whenever the antigen, it will enter into our body, okay. So, there will be immune response, it will be activated. So, ಆ ಒಂದು ಆಕ್ಟಿವೇಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಇಮ್ಯೂನ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಂದ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಯಾವುದರಿಂದ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಯಾವುದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ WBC, that is the white blood corpuscles ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. And those white blood corpuscles ಅಲ್ಲಿ, okay, the important cells ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ types ಬರುತ್ತೆ WBC ನಲ್ಲಿ, those we can call it as, that is the lymphocytes, okay. So what are those? What we will call it as the lymphocytes ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. So these lymphocytes, and if we remember the blood composition we have studied in the last year, totally 5 types of WBCs are there. So how much? The 5 types of WBC are present. Out of 5 types of WBC, the second most abundant type of WBCs are, that is lymphocytes, okay. So these lymphocytes, which are one of the important type of cells of our immune system, and these lymphocytes are categorized into 2 types. So which are those 2 types? One it is, that is the B lymphocytes. What we will call it as the B lymphocytes, and another one, what we will call it as the T lymphocytes. What we will call it as T lymphocytes, okay. We have to know in detail what exactly B stands for and T stands for. So here students should understand all the lymphocytes, whether it is B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes, okay. So the lymphocytes, whatever it is present in the WBC, whether it is the B lymphocytes and the T lymphocytes, in order to differentiate, okay, we have to understand, so where it is matured, okay, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆಚುರೇಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ, ಓಕೆ, ಇವನ್ನ ಬಿ ಲಿಂಫೋಸೈಟ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಟಿ ಲಿಂಫೋಸೈಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಶಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ from the bone marrow, so here ultimately the lymphocytes are produced from the bone marrow, okay. So bone marrow is the hemopoietic in the sense that is which is filled with the blood, okay, the organ which is filled with that blood. So the bone marrow is a hemopoietic organ, but some of the lymphocytes, after their here the bone marrow, the lymphocytes which is produced inside the bone marrow, and the maturation it is taking place within the bone marrow itself. Okay, bone marrow nalle ಏನು lymphocytes mature ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So these that is hemopoietic organ, the bone marrow is a hemopoietic organ, but some of the lymphocytes after their productions from the bone marrow, they are differentiated into cells, the bone marrow itself. Okay, bone marrow nalle differentiate ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು functional ಆಗಿ ಏನು ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅವನ್ನ ನಾವು ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಬಿ ಲಿಂಫೋಸೈಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. So that's why they are also called as the B lymphocytes. B stands for then now what it is, that is a bone marrow. Okay, that's why hence the name B lymphocytes. Why it is called so B lymphocytes? Because it is produced in the bone marrow and undergoing differentiation and also the functional within the bone marrow itself. That's why it is also called as the B lymphocytes. And some other lymphocytes anyway they have produced in the bone marrow, but the produced as a immature cells. Okay, avu maturation innu agirodilla, even though bone marrow dalli produce ಆದ್ರೂ ಸಮೇತ maturation ಆಗಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Okay, so they are the immature non-functional cells. Okay, so some of the lymphocytes after their production in the bone marrow, they migrate to thymus under the influence of hormone thymosin. Okay, which is the hormone what we will call it as, in which the non-functional immature cells they are migrate, they are travel from the bone marrow to thymus under the influence of the one of the enzyme what we will call it as, that is the thymosin. Okay, so that's why thymus, and they will reach the thymus and transform into functional cells. With this it is very clear. Okay, so immature non-functional cells they are migrated to the thymus under the influence of which that is enzyme, that is a hormone, the thymosin, and migrate, transform into the what, that is a functional cells. With this it is very clear both the types of lymphocytes and are produced in a bone marrow itself, but based on their differentiation into functional cells. If the lymphocytes are differentiated into functional cells in the bone marrow itself, they are called B lymphocytes. If they are differentiated into functional cells in the thymus, they are T lymphocytes. Okay, so I was telling basically immunity can be two types. Okay, that is humoral immunity and the cell mediated immunity. So with this, broadly speaking, humoral immunity is offered by which type of lymphocytes, that is the B lymphocytes, and the cell mediated immunity which offers what, that is the T lymphocytes. Okay, that is what we'll call it as the cell mediated immunity. So with this introduction, I repeat once again, the B lymphocytes which will offers humoral immunity and the T lymphocytes which will offers what, the cell mediated immunity. Okay, so with this introduction, okay, so I want to students should understand whenever a foreign antigen enter our body, our immune system elicits two types of immune responses. They are broadly classified into humoral immunity and the cell mediated immunity. So broadly speaking, humoral immunity is the function of B lymphocytes, and the cell mediated immunity, it is the function of what, that is the T lymphocytes. I repeat once again, humoral immunity, it is the function of B lymphocytes. Cell mediated immunity, it is the function of what? The T lymphocytes. Now in the next, so we will discuss what is the mechanism of B lymphocytes, and also that is the humoral immunity mechanism, and also the cell mediated immunity mechanism along with their respective lymphocytes. Now let us discuss, we are looking to the mechanism of B lymphocytes. Dear students, I already told the B lymphocytes which offers what? That is the humoral immunity. Okay. So, if you ask what is humoral immunity, so if you ask me what is humoral immunity, my simplest answer is the humoral immunity, it is nothing but what? The immunity offered by body fluids. Okay, what we call it as, that is a body fluids. Then what are those body fluids in our body? As you know already, in our body the circulated, that is circulating fluids, which are those, that is the blood and blood plasma. Humor means that is a fluid. What we say that the humor means that is the fluid. So the circulating fluid which will contains what? That is the antibodies. So those will give the response against the foreign antigen. What we say that, what we'll call it as the humoral immunity. So I repeat, the B lymphocytes, whenever the antigen entering into our body, they directly, that is in which it will neutralizes the action of the antigen. ಆ ಒಂದು ಆಂಟಿಜನ್ ಒಂದು ಆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅನ್ನ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿಯನ್ನ ಡಿಸೀಸ್ ಫ್ರೀ ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಇಮ್ಯೂನ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್, ವಿಚ್ ಈಸ್ ದಟ್ ಇಮ್ಯೂನ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ humoral immunity. Then what is humoral immunity? That is the immunity offered by the body fluids like blood and the blood plasma, and also the antibodies produced by the B lymphocytes, they are always circulating in the blood and the blood plasma. Let me look into that is what is the mechanism involved in this, what we call it as, that is B lymphocytes. If we take, that is a cell, that is a B lymphocytes, the B lymphocyte cell having what? The marker. So what is that marker? We will call it as on the surface, the B lymphocyte surface, there is a marker. That marker we can call it as a BCR. What we will call it as? That is a BCR. B stands for B. Okay. That is a bone marrow cell receptor. B cell receptor. So B cell lymphocytes. Okay. B lymphocytes produces whatever that is a cell. It is having a cell marker. So that marker, what we will call it as a B cell receptor. So in that B cell receptor, there will be a surface marker, it is there. Okay. So this surface marker, okay, in which the foreign, whenever the antigen, it will enter into our body. Okay. So this will binds the antigen. Okay. So how it will binds the antigen? Okay. That is the mechanism involved. So whenever the antigen enter into our body, this B cell, what? So undergoing what? That is the differentiation. Okay. So this B cell undergoing what? That is the differentiation. It means that it will produces a two types of, that is a large population of two types of cells. One, it is the memory cells, and another one, it is the plasma cells. Okay. So in order to undergo this differentiation, okay, so the student should remember here, that it requires a type of what? That is a cytokinins. Okay, so the type of cytokinins, what we will call it as interleukins ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಈ ಒಂದು ಬಿ ಲಿಂಫೋಸೈಟ್ಸು ಯಾವಾಗ ಆಂಟಿಜನ್ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆದಾಗ ಅದ್ರ ಎಗೇನೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೋರಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಏನು ಈ ಸೆಲ್ಲು ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಶಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಆ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಶಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಎರಡು ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸನ್ನು ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ಗಳ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇದು ಏನಾಗಬೇಕು, ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಶಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಆ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಶಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೋಟೀನಿನ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇದೆ. ಯಾವುದದು? ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಇಂಟರ್ಲ್ಯೂಕಿನ್. ಇಂಟರ್ಲ್ಯೂಕಿನ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು? ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೈಟೋಕೈನಿನ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, so this interleukin, what it will do, it will produce that is interleukin, it is produced by the type of T lymphocytes. Which is the T lymphocytes? That is again it is a type of lymphocytes. I already told this is the T lymphocyte. T lymphocyte ಏನನ್ನ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ? ಇಂಟರ್ಲ್ಯೂಕಿನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. This interleukin, these helpful in the what? That is the differentiation of the B lymphocytes. And if we say that interleukins, what are interleukins? These are the T helper cells. It is a type of cytokinins in which it is produced by the T helper cells, and these are low molecular weight proteins ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. What we will call it as these interleukins, these are the low molecular weight proteins. After the production of that is interleukins, the B lymphocytes undergoing differentiation. After differentiation, two groups of population it will be produced. One, it is the memory cells, and another one we can call it as the plasma cells ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. One, it is what we will call it as the memory cells. The second one, it is the plasma cells. Okay, so after that is the plasma cells. What it will do? The plasma cells, when it will transforms into the and also these plasma cells undergoing what? That is the immune response. These are also called as the effector cells ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. And it is acts as a antibodies. And these antibodies, what it will do? It will goes and binds, okay, this antigen into the surface marker of the B lymphocytes. Okay, so B lymphocytes in which it is produces the antibodies like this. Okay, by the mechanism what? Undergoing differentiation. So bind ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಈ ಒಂದು antigen and it will destroys, and also this antigen it will destroyed by these antibodies, and the action it will be taking place and neutralizes this action. By this it will protect our body what? That is free from infection. Then what about that is what is the function of the memory cells now? This memory cells, what? That is these are the group of cells in which it will generate the immunological memories. Suppose take for example the antigen A it is. Okay, so this antigen A, okay, so it will not expose the first time exposure. So memory cells first time antigen enter ಆದಾಗ ಇದು memory response ಈ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ಗಳು ತೋರಿಸೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾವಾಗ ಈ ಒಂದು ಎ ಆಂಟಿಜನ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಇನ್ವೇಡ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕಿಲ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೋ, ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಆಂಟಿಜನ್ ಎ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಎಂಟರ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಅವರ್ ಬಾಡಿ. ಇದೇ ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಇನ್ನೊಮ್ಮೆ ಬಂದಾಗ, ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಹದೊಳಗಡೆ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ ಆದಾಗ, these memories they will activate and produces the antibodies and the neutralizes the action of this antigen. Okay, so no need to further these differentiation and all. Okay, so ಒಂದ್ಸತಿ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಇನ್ವೇಡ್ ಆದಾಗ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರುತ್ತೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಮೆಮೊರಿ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಆಂಟಿಜನ್ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ ಆದಾಗ ಈ ಒಂದು ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಒಂದು ಆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅನ್ನ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಟ್? ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಮೆಮೊರಿ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್. ಜನರೇಟ್ immunological memory when the antigen which is entering into our body second time. Okay, second time. So when the first time it will enter, it will remembers those memories. Okay, so it is very clear. So how that is a humoral immunity, it will functions, okay, by the B lymphocytes. I repeat once again, B lymphocytes undergoing differentiation. Before that it is having what? That is a B cell receptor. B cell receptor in which it will acts as a binding receptor for the surface, that is a antigen entering into our body, and the B lymphocytes, whenever the antigen it will enter, it is undergoing differentiation with the help of, that is, interleukin. That is, interleukins are the low molecular weight proteins produced by the type of T lymphocytes, are also called as the T helper cells. And after the differentiation with the help of the interleukins, two group of population of the cells it will be produced in the blood. One it is the plasma cells, another one it is the memory cells. The plasma cells, they are also called as the effector cells. These effector cells produces what? That is the antibodies, and these antibodies goes and binds to the what? That is a antigen, okay, where the surface marker is present in the antibodies, and the memory cells generates immunological memory when the same microorganism invades our body second time. Okay, with this it is very clear that is the mechanism of B lymphocytes. Okay, in the next video we will discuss the mechanism of the cell mediated immunity. Thank you.